Alright, what's up, yins, guys? Time for another video. I'm gonna uh, talk about some. This is based on something I was reading on some article, and I seen posts of people, like people that posted stuff. Uh, anyway, I'm gonna explain here in a second. I mean, off to a rocky start talking, but I'm once again trying not to laugh when I'm talking about this stuff. And yeah, I don't go and start my videos over anymore just because I screwed up my talking. I just admit right there. Uh, so anyway, yeah, trying to, in my mind, I'm trying not to laugh here, too. And don't get me wrong, this subject matter, I'm not being an asshole in a way. Anybody who needs certain help with anything, of course, should get it. But I also will say too, if you do get help, don't let anybody take advantage of you, and don't go to just anybody and think they're gonna solve all your problems for you. So anyway, this video here. I'm going to talk about what I regard. I don't know what everybody's opinion on an agenda with this, but I'm naming this personally the mental health awareness agenda. Um, and this dovetails into a video I made in observance about this thing that this rhetoric, a little bit of rhetoric on TV with this thing called toxic positivity, which I didn't say in the other video I made about it. I meant to. There's so much in it. Article I actually looked in on YouTube, other videos about, titled in the YouTube videos, even in articles, that the toxic positivity term was actually utilized by communist people, socialist type people, to mentally keep you down. And if they could mentally keep you down, they could physically keep you down too, anyway. But yeah, I'm not knocking mental health awareness, but if you got people that are celebrities and sports stars, I understand there's a lot of pressure, different things like that. People are burnt, people can get depressed, people can get anxiety. I do buy that. I understand that. But just like other kind of socio-political issues of different kind, which sports stars and celebrities are also endorsing, you got to have some mistrust, but you're not being an asshole either. You're not saying anybody and any of the people that may not seek help. Maybe some of them you might figure they're opening their stuff up, they're being taken advantage of. But when you got celebrities and sports stars being purveyors of this, endorsing this on the news, there's always usually an agenda. And if you're following me here, and I'm not saying that to be insensitive to people, I also will say, in talking in parentheses here, remind you too, beware of people that you don't even know very well here, that are very quick to tell you sob stories and their problems too. You can listen and suggest ideas, but sometimes you need to get away from. If you start subtly, even though if you find yourself knowing damn well you're not being condescending or something, you're being as polite as possible to try to suggest some things. Have you done this, or we try this? And they still they start either getting mad or indicate any kind of things like they want money, or they want to follow you around, or some kind of thing like that. Or if they start getting mad because, well, you got on family members doing this too. I don't want to get off the subject and talking about other videos, but this does dovetail into, like narcissistic people and sociopaths. I put one woman I was looking at. That's in with the mix. Don't want to waste a video on it, but the people that tend to get mad and get like pushy, or even call you insensitive or something anyway, they don't want to be uplifted. They don't want to. It can get evident that they don't just want people to show they care or something, or they don't just want people to listen to them. Some of them do. When they start showing telltale behavior, that means they don't want to be uplifted or talking to. They want you to go down with them. There was even family members that did that, do that shit. I don't want to be repeating too much I said in a toxic positivity video, but I will also say here a good point that's on my mind too. There is a saying that both black and white people used, even young kids and even adults. It starts out as a harmless saying, about, yeah, you ever hear that? You down with us, man? Yeah, you down with us? There used to be, it used to be other things like that. About you got a bunch of group. It's like you hanging with us, or you doing what's hip, and a bunch of things like that. Sometimes it's harmless in a sense, right? In a sense where you got a bunch of friends or people you work with. Maybe if you're a bunch of kids. You like a bunch of teenagers or something, or you got older people like you're in the same minimum wage job together. It can be harmless in a sense because you want to be positive, but sometimes you're working some minimum wage job for years, and it's a harmless saying. People say, "Oh, you down with us?" Because it's like everybody's almost in some kind of agreement that this is as good as it gets. This shit job they're working, and hope you don't get laid off. I understand. I'm just giving you a ballpark example. Without going on, you can probably come up with other examples, but I'm going to talk about the saying that's also dangerous too. You down with us. Sometimes that can be a dangerous statement. It actually means what it means. You down with us. Say you could be a bunch of adults or teenagers going to have some beers after work or something, beer and a meal after work. Could be harmless sometimes, but then if you're in the same crowd, whether a teenager or an adult, you down with us, and all of a sudden you start phasing a crowd out, and you're have some opportunity to make your life a little bit better or easier, and you don't got, your time is going to be elsewhere. Like, after all, I think every individual in a clique should have that thing called a life, in a sense, not just even after work all going to the same bar, and not just going to the bar to have a meal with a beer next to it, but always at the bar stool, and always going to smoke pot, even like because it's legal now and all that in a lot of places, whether you're sick or even recreational now. Don't tell anybody what to do, but there's a thing where you get in those crowds, you down with us, and then hey, if you leave, you suggest maybe getting something that's upgrading your life. You're some kind of asshole or something. Well, in a lot of cases too, you don't want to go with any of these people and do that. You went once or twice. You know what I mean? You down with us. They're using that expression, you down with us. That's actually what they mean. It's a virtue signal. They don't want anybody leaving the herd or this crowd or whatever to pursue a slightly better life. Oh man, you're some selfish asshole, or you're some kind of asshole somewhere. You'll be with a bunch of people that they don't think that anything's getting better from them, and they don't want you to have it either. Well, yeah, if you're living with certain family members, it's like that. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but that's that, and that leads to mental health or whatever too. But it's a little off the subject, but with all that stuff going on, you'll see celebrities on TV or people on their social media with this mental health awareness shit, and they'll go and there's a saying I'm getting to too. I'm getting to something that I want to say too right off the bat that I should have said first in the video too. But yeah, there's these new mental health apps. You can get a therapist right with an app now. It's big business. They want everybody to do it. It's business. It's big. I said before in videos, it's big business to be not okay. I had a matter of fact, I have a video that had some traction too. I think people I think that I get a few videos like this shadow banned because somebody up there doesn't want people to see it or whatever too. But I did a video called "It's Okay to Be Okay," because I actually feel it's turning into a trend that they're encouraging people to not okay. Then you're people all over TV. Oh, everybody should have a therapist. You're going to be abnormal. It's supposed to be the status quo, and the big thing now that everybody on an app needs a therapist. And I'll say once again, if you do need some kind of help, go get it. Like it says, don't go do anything stupid or anything else, or like in anger. If you feel like you need some help or whatever, do it by all means. Don't let anybody take advantage, and don't let anybody reel you into some kind of stuff where you're always like, because it's big business, you're always in that shit, and then they ain't gonna solve your problems for you. Oh, they'll gladly get you strung along if there's some insurance paying for it, or government insurance paying for it, or Obamacare paying for it, or whatever the hell they're calling it now, even though Obama's ain't president anymore. But you know what I mean. But so I'm covering that. And then there's another thing I seen on a friend that I went to school with, social media. I ain't saying no name anything. But okay, bear with me here. It's like, you know how you had these little games on apps, mostly on Facebook. I don't want to say it's an app. It started out as little games where you click, you could put a picture in there. What animal do you look like? And you put something in, it could everything be a horoscope or read something about you. I think those things are damn stupid. It's for fun. It's not to take seriously. I'm not telling anybody to tell Christians to freak out. Oh my God, it's secretly a Ouija board. I have a yes and no to this. Not a Ouija board or anything, but you gotta be careful. It started out, okay, with put something in your picture, what animal you be. Then it started out as some kind of thing that you type in, and I don't know, about yourself, and it gives you something back, and gives you some kind of thing back or whatever. Usually they're harmless. It can be damn near anything. It's just silly stuff. I almost categorize it like a fortune cookie. You don't take it, or a newspaper horoscope. But anyway, it's something that you put in and click, and then everybody in their social media and Facebook sees it. And then, you know, they're doing this show on purpose. I don't know what they typed, but it shows, everybody on their Facebook shows the result of it, right? But anyway, it shows on their answer that showed all over Facebook, which I see and probably other friends show. It said in the return result, their name, okay, let's say the fictitious name. It can be a dude, or say Jimmy, or okay, name in front of it, Jimmy or Judy. You need to stop saying to yourself that everything is okay. Okay, now when you're getting the shit like that, like it turns from a little tiny little, you know, Facebook thingy that's, like I said, it started out as, you know, what animal are you, and type, and starts out with typing your birth date in, shit like that. It's usually harmless. It's just for fun. But when it gets into other kind of things, and making it, and a thing comes up and says, Judy or George, you need to stop saying and everything is okay, you need to kind of look the hell out a little bit, because it's like a little signal, a virtue signal, along with, they know what the fuck they're doing when they're putting this little shit on Facebook and all that. And you have these friends you go to school with, you're not knocking them, you're saying these things, as a matter of fact, because you care, and you don't want to belittle them anything too. You don't want nobody to take advantage of them. But, and again, I did a video, it's okay to be okay. I feel that these people, oh yeah, they'll make you into a monster if you question it. That's another thing too. There's people out there that want you to be afraid to question anything politely, or you might be some selfish monster, or unsympathetic, no empathy. You want them to jump off a cliff or whatever the hell, just because you question it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, if you, by all means, if you think you're not okay, get help, but be careful who the hell you trust, and be careful who the hell you're taking that advice from, that you're not okay or whatever too. Sometimes it's only temporary, and if you see something going on, you really should rebel against that shit. Everybody gets a little depressed, burnt, or tired from now and then. It's usually temporary, but be careful. Shit you see on TV, on social media, making it a phenomenon, that they're literally signaling you that it's hip to not be okay, and that bullshit that everybody needs a therapist, and everybody is Nobody is, don't, they want to go tell you that nobody is okay. Nobody's okay. And everybody's putting on a mask that it's okay. Well, yes, some do. That's true. I mean, you can actually make this into a paradox. I mean, there's a paradox. I mean, I actually should title this the mental health awareness agenda / paradox, because yeah, there's stuff that's true and you don't want to double talk it, but that's how sly people are. They'll accuse you of double talking it, but the people who created it are actually double talkers. And then you say, oh, if you go and criticize it and you say this is true and this is true, but sometimes this is not true and sometimes it is under certain circumstances at the same time, you'll get accused of double talk. And the very people that set all this bullshit up and put all this shit in people's heads were people that constantly engage in double talk, and you'll be accused of double talk just by tearing it apart, by in a sense you're using double talk. Because even though I can't stand certain religion, I have certain beliefs that you got to watch some Christians too, but some of us have some Christianity and some crossover beliefs in us. But if you're some kind of Christian that's not one of those assholes that on a list of things that I can make a whole video out, you will understand though too, if you believe in a devil, that the devil pulls shit like that, or any other kind of spiritual belief that you think there's some kind of entity out there. And and if it's any consolation to you, anybody pulls that bullshit about, oh, there is no entity, some kind of, the atheist evolutionist shit. I say to people all the time too, you can argue this. Christians and certain people that believe don't like me arguing it this way, or anybody else, but you need to do this to nail something down with these people if they want to talk you out of or belittling you for something spiritual, right? You have the right to create the argument with them and say, okay, there is no God, no angels, devils, or anything trying to cause chaos in your head. Go ahead and call it a metaphoric demon. Call it metaphoric demons, and put forth this psychiatric syndrome where people will hear and see things, that's for a lot of people that went crazy, or they became different forms of crazy. People that claim that they actually see and talking to things. You're getting into shit like where people claim to be seeing and hearing disembodied voices and actually seeing whatever talking to them, whether they're acting like they're crazy or they're really crazy. But you can argue that people can create that syndrome and deliberately cause that kind of virus in you, you know what I mean, too. If you want to convince somebody of the metaphorical demons or these syndromes that people get, and argue that other humans can act like they're helping people and plant these. After all, we're physical bodies and we're a machine at the same time. Why not? And you can argue that to unravel and talk about stuff like that, maybe you should understand those mechanics, get some idea that element exists before you go believing in any metaphysical or paranormal things. I mean, so you can argue that point. I'm not trying not to spend much time on it, but if you have a right to be a smart ass and say, okay, there's no angels, no devils, all right, yeah, create the argument that people want to deliberately cause these syndromes, and they want, and somebody, because it's big business, they want to plant you with some kind of virus of and get you tormented by metaphorical demons or whatever. Yep, it's big business. It's about control. It's big business, and it's about control, and it's about keeping everybody down to the same level. And then when they do that, they'll also saying you're walking your head too high, or walking around too confident or even cocky. Even if you're doing that and you're not particularly okay a particular day, you could be considered a monster or a psychopath or a sociopath, because you're not bothered with the emotions that they are dictating for you to have as far as these new mental health awareness shit, or whatever you call it too. And being okay can be considered being a terrorist and being criminally and possibly criminally insane or whatever, because yeah, they want the sheep to be weak and needy. Whether you believe that there's devils at work here and people that work working for devils, or just manipulative people that want to plant things in you. Oh, but also, while I'm on it too, the people that will argue with you that it's all inside mental and psychological, there's no real devils, angels, demons, or entities, or shapeshifters, or whatever. Well, you can tell these people that don't believe in that, well, the people that worship and believe in, say, the devils are the shapeshifters, whether they want you to believe in them or not, they want to control, and they can even be using those devils as a metaphorical icon for their organization, their group. Don't have to matter if you believe in them or not, but they could be using them as some kind of iconic code, or just like they brandishing a flag or a statue icon. Whether it's you believe it's real or not, it can represent a group of people, criminal gang, a type of mental manipulation, of organization, organized groups of people that want to control other groups of people. So yeah, all right, you can say what a lot of different people are saying are real. You can argue at both angles. So you can say, you can tell there's a couple of different individuals that are naysayers on certain sides, and tell you not to think. You could nail that right down and say, okay, make this argument, and then tell them to go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? But okay, to end this, what it will turn into if you're not drinking that Kool-Aid and you're outspoken, you speak against it, even though you're showing empathy. You're walking around, you want to do things that are physically strong, and you're walking around proud of what you're able to do physically, and then walking around like instead of walking down with head down and all that. Yeah, you'll be a terrorist, you'll be some kind of thing like that, especially with the new normal they're trying to create, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's all about breaking everybody down and making them equal. That's what they really want.